Welcome to yet another edition of Nation Watch. Today I am going to talk about India, our own country. So, India with respect to some external forces, or you can say long ago people used to call this a foreign hand. So, I am going to talk about Twitter, BBC, and Ford Foundation. So, let me go from the latest one. Twitter, Mr. Jack Dorsey. The co-founder of Twitter, Mr. Jack Dorsey, has recently commented about India that India threatened Twitter either to shut down or arrest some of their employees. So he was expressing his dissatisfaction with India. So, but the fact finding, what has happened is Twitter is never interested to follow the law of the land. That is Indian law. It is their culture. It's a culture of those Western people that they still live in the colonial era, and in the countries like India, they do not follow the rules of that country. So that is the basic flaw in their way they think. So they never bothered to honor the law of the land, that is Indian law. So they were always resisting to follow the law promulgated in India time to time. So they were very reluctant. So India has to put all pressure on Twitter. Even they might have even told them to shut down Twitter or make the employees pay for the non-following the laws of India. So India has to take up that high measure. Then finally the Twitter has to kneel down. So they agreed to follow the laws of and then things were going smooth. Now someone else, that Elon Musk bought Twitter, and then they are following Indian rules and regulations. Another incident which happened a few months back is BBC. There were internal email exchanges expressing whether we should follow the law of the land. So what is that meaning? The meaning is that they're thinking they are the rulers of India, or they are Indians, or the Indian is their colony. So they need not follow Indian law, they can follow the law of England. So they were discussing within the organization whether to follow the law of India or not. So this is also another basic flaw in their way of thinking. They think India is their colony. So there is no need to follow the Indian law. So they are discussing whether to follow law of India or not. So they were violating law of the land, and then Indian government has to take some tough measures and then bring them into line. And then another organization is the Ford Foundation. This happened, I think, 2014 when Mr. Modi took the charge of a prime ministership in India. First thing he did was he sent information to all the NGOs to follow the land strictly. So immediately the Ford Foundation started murmuring, started opposing, started creating waves in the international arena. Even people in the US started commenting for the tough measure taken by India. But finally, Ford Foundation has to come down and then start following law of India. They have to submit accounts to the Indian government. So what Ford Foundation, what I am doing all these years is something interesting. Ford Foundation is functioning in India right from the days of Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru. Their main function is to bribe the government officials, politicians, so that laws will be made which will be in tune with the policies of the US. So that is, Indian government has to make law or amend law so that it will go in hand with the policies of the US. That is the work done by Ford Foundation. Mr. Modi know about it. So first he came into prime ministership is to make all the NGOs to follow the law. He didn't make any new law. He told them to follow the law. The law is very simple. Whatever money you are getting from foreign countries, you should spend it for the purpose for which you have bought it. For example, if some NGO takes foreign countries for education of poor children, they have to spend that money for the education of poor children. They cannot give it to anybody else for any other purpose. The law is very simple, but people are not ready to follow, because all these years no one was following the law of India. They were using the money for all other purposes, even for conversion of Hindus into Muslims or Hindus into Christians or something like that, or to do some anti-social activities or anti-Indian activities. So all these things were stopped once Mr. Modi came into the power. So the mindset of the Western people are wrong. They still think India can be manipulated. So that's not so true after BJP and Mr. Modi took power in India. Let us meet in yet another session of Nation Watch. Till then, see you. Tata. Bye bye.